Results are a little bit unexpected.
LA County agrees to pay millions over growing concerns of lead contamination in burn areas.
Who's driving the bus up there? Who's in charge?
Plus, a new investigation looks into delayed evacuation orders hours after 911 calls. And creating a safe space for stability and confidence for young men struggling after the fires.
I don't have to be the one always pouring, and somebody's actually pouring back into me.
Hello and welcome to Rebuilding SoCal, our commitment to giving you the latest developments in the wake of the fires. I'm Amy Johnson. Here at KCAL, we will keep you at the forefront of our coverage as we rebuild SoCal. We'll get answers and hold leaders accountable while showcasing Southern California's solidarity and strength, because we stand with you. Now, we start with elevated lead levels in the Eaton Fire zone. Pasadena has issued new safety guidelines and just announced it will close baseball infields at 2 parks. Meanwhile, LA County says it will pay for lead testing for those who want it. Here's Tom Waite.
In the ruins of the Eaton Fire, concerns about what's hidden in the ash. Now, new guidelines from the Pasadena Public Health Department for people who live near or in the Eaton Fire zone. They come after LA County testing found slightly elevated levels of lead in about half of the sites that were tested.
Results are a little bit unexpected. But again, you have to keep in mind these are screening levels. By no means do they signify anything more than just a screening level.
Pasadena will request state and federal help to keep screening the soil. And until more test results come in, the city has new recommendations. Outdoors, prevent children and pets from digging or playing in exposed soil. Cover exposed soil with grass, mulch, wood chips, or gravel. And wash pet paws and toys after contact with soil. For indoor safety, remove shoes before entering your home. Frequently wet mop entryways and hard floor surfaces. Run air purifiers that use HEPA filters. Pasadena has already taken action to help mitigate potential lead contamination. In a park not far from the Eaton Fire burn area, new wood chips were added, a key measure to protect children. Parents like Daniel Whipple, who has a 2-year-old, is focused on staying safe.
We waited to come back to the park until after it rained and was cleaner, and then we've got new wood chips now, which is nice, and they replaced the sand. So in general, we felt other reports came out that it was clean, and so I'll have to check out the newer one.
We're still, like I said, we were masking and stuff. We're a little bit not as high level right now, but we'll definitely be taking those precautions still because, like I said, we know it's going to be going on for a while.
Because of the report suggesting potential higher lead levels, LA County supervisors approved $3 million in funding for residents in and around the Eaton Fire zone to test for lead contamination. Pasadena's health officer says in some cases she recommends hiring a professional for a blood test.
Anyone who is suitably concerned about exposure to lead, which could mean children, young children, pregnant women, elderly people with comorbid conditions, they should all avail of the opportunity to test their blood levels, because this is a gold standard.
Tom Waite, KCAL News.
Well, another growing problem for Eaton Fire victims to worry about: thieves. This week, the Altadena Sheriff's Station arrested 15 people accused of stealing hundreds of pounds of copper and metal from burned homes to sell for scrap. Officials say burglaries have more than quadrupled and that they've nearly tripled their staff to combat the issue.
You guys need to see the situation that we're going through. Everybody's hurt. Come on, please. I know that one day you guys are going to have family. Please stop.
Well, sheriff's officials say if you see someone committing a crime, don't confront them. Instead, be a good witness and call 911. Well, a major update in the Palisades fire zone. Governor Newsom says PCH will partially reopen in the coming weeks. Many locals have pleaded for the iconic roadway to reopen. But as Lori Perez shows us, there are concerns about how this will all play out.
You know, our business is off by 80 or 90%, probably. There's no doubt businesses like Malibu Divers need customers. After 3+ months with PCH closed through the Palisades into Malibu, they want the road to reopen. But the suddenly announced reopening at the end of May has some worried. Governor Newsom says only one lane in each direction of the iconic coastal highway will open. And though that will be far before what was originally expected, some, like store co-owner Carter Crary, says he has
very mixed reaction.
Crary has a front row view of what's happening on PCH with the constant truck parade during the cleanup and rebuilding process. And he knows better than anyone else, even with residents and workers only, it is congested chaos.
The road right now backs up pretty significantly in the morning rush and evening rush hours. So I can't imagine what it's going to be like if the west side of Los Angeles is trying to get here along with all of the trucks and everything else.
To add tourists and beachgoers to the equation with just one lane open either way, to some locals seems a hassle and hazardous.
It'd be nice, but it's not practical. There's too much going on still with all laying the cables and water and stuff, and the whole hazard area down there.
Former Malibu Mayor, now Planning Commission Chair Skylar Peak, says what he's looking for is a balance of a massive project.
That involves trucks, debris removal, waste systems, power lines, communication lines.
And a community in need.
People need access to our community. Our businesses need visitors to, come and support them. And people need to get through the grieve during this process, as we all are. And I just hope that that's done in the most safe manner possible.
Again, that is the plan for the partial reopening at the end of May. There is no word on when all of the lanes might reopen for the public. In Malibu, I'm Lori Perez, KCAL News.
Well, while the Palisades Village survived the fire, its businesses haven't been able to reopen. So they've had to get creative to stay afloat.
We reached out to our manufacturers, and a lot of them reached out to us. People were so kind, and we are now able to offer our customers deep discounts on like bedding and tabletop, like dishes and glasses and mattress pads and throws, so that they can create a little home away from home, because 90% of the people in the Palisades are in rentals.
Well, home furnishings and interior design store Elizabeth Lamont has been at the village for years. Lamont and 4 of her team members lost their homes. She wants to partner with builders and architects to rebuild at scale so victims can return home as soon as possible.
They're going to build 20 houses. They're going to have 4 models, and then they can have different facades, a contemporary, traditional, transitional, and then we're hoping to do the interiors for that.
Well, Lamont says she also hopes Pacific Palisades comes back stronger than ever and keeps the essence it once had.
Who is in charge? Because I could see it.
Well, the new report into delayed evacuation orders hours after the first 911 call. That's coming up next. Plus, a follow-up on all those donated clothes after the fires and where they all ended up. And prayers answered for a Palisades church, the group stepping in to help the cleanup. A new LA Times investigation is raising questions about the Eaton Fire response. It says evacuation orders didn't go out in Western Altadena until 2.5 hours after the first 911 call. Nicole Comstock spoke to some county officials.
This is what Lisa Stewart saw while evacuating her West Altadena home.
House is on fire.
It was almost 3 in the morning. She says no evacuation notice came to her phone, and she left on her own when her neighbor's home caught fire. She called 911 twice around 2:40 to ask where the firefighters were, and others in town did the same. The LA Times says 911 logs they obtained from the LA County Fire Department show there were 14 reports of flames reaching Western Altadena, where most of the victims died, before an evacuation order came at 3:25 in the morning, 2.5 hours after the first call for help.
When did you get an evacuation notice on your phone?
I didn't. I never got one. I never got an evacuation notice. Most of the people in Western Altadena didn't. As a matter of fact, I was giving the evacuation notices.
Leslie Aiken posted her own evacuation notices on her community group, What's Up Altadena, even as her own home was burning down. She says it felt like her local page and another were the only places some people in the line of fire were getting word that they could die if they didn't leave.
Who's driving the bus up there? Who's in charge? Who is in charge? Because I could see it.
We asked LA County about the delayed evacuation orders. They sent us a written statement that reads in part, an independent after-action review is being conducted to examine all aspects of evacuations and notifications. All involved departments are cooperating fully with this review and will have no further comment while it's underway. It was LA County Supervisor Catherine Barger who ordered that independent review. She said in writing in part, we owe it to our residents to ensure there's both clarity and accountability when lives are on the line. We're working toward a better understanding of what happened and, more importantly, how we prevent it from happening again. They're expecting the first progress report on that independent review on April 28th, and they'll be sharing it. Leslie says over 100 people have messaged her after the fire, thanking her for saving their lives. Nicole Comstock, KCAL News.
Well, thousands of people donated items and clothes after the Palisades and Eaton fires, and now our partners at LAist and Mike Rogers at the desk look into where the extra clothes went.
Look, LA really turned out when it came to donating for the people that were affected by both the Palisades and the Eaton fires. And really the easiest thing for people to donate is clothes. It's quick. You just go into your closet, grab what you don't want anymore, and go donate it. This is one of the massive donation centers at Santa Anita. Really a huge turnout here. The problem is they were so inundated with clothes that they couldn't do anything with all of the clothes that were received. Not every pair of clothing was able to go somewhere. So what did they do with the extra clothes? Well, the YMCA, according to LAist, called in a couple of companies to pick up the extra clothes. Those companies then tried to do what they could to disseminate them, but it was a lot of extra clothes, and I am talking a lot. According to LAist, there was one organization called US Again. They picked up 10,000 pounds of extra clothes from the fires, and another organization called Trashy, they picked up 56,800 pounds worth of clothes that were donated and not be able to use just from the YMCA. By the way, 23,000 of those pounds came from here at the Santa Anita racetrack. So what happened to them? Well, only 50% of them could be reused. The companies that were cited up by the LAist article said that a lot of the clothes that were donated are not something they would even be able to resell in the United States because of the condition and the deterioration of those clothes. So unfortunately, these organizations have to take them and sort them. Many of them, thousands of them, end up in landfills or in other countries. We've talked about this a lot before. It's a big problem with clothing in the country and really across the globe, as a lot of these clothes get donated. People don't end up using them. They think they're doing the right thing with them, and ultimately they end up sitting in a landfill somewhere. Now, the organizations say that really the best thing you can do is donate money, because then that allows the organizations to do with it what they think they need is best and not have to then pay people to sift through these tens of thousands of pounds of extra clothes that unfortunately many of it ended up in landfills.
Well, on this Holy Week, a Palisades church that faced devastation is now a symbol of hope. Leaders at the Pacific Palisades Presbyterian Church say they didn't know what to do after finding out insurance wouldn't cover all the cleanup and that they didn't qualify for federal aid. Well, this week, at the city's request, the nonprofit CORE stepped in to remove the debris.
Seeing progress at a place that is so important for community and so important for family and so important for individuals is a really powerful thing.
I think the message of Easter, again, for our Christian faith, is an incredibly powerful and needed message for all of us right now, no matter what tradition we come from or don't come from. And that's the universal message of loss and renewal, of death and new life.
Well, they hope other organizations help all the places of worship in the fire zones. Well, sharing stories of loss, resilience, and hope over a cup of coffee.
Truly replacing the irreplaceable.
Plus, a local champion surprised with a piece of her history that she thought she'd lost forever.
We're able to give them mentorship and just, guide them in whichever way they want to be guided.
And how Altadena Boys is helping fill voids and inspire young men during some tough times. Melissa Mo Martin grew up in Altadena, where she honed her golf skills on the local courses. Her mother and brother still lived there when the Eaton Fire destroyed their family home, along with a treasured golf trophy. Well, Jill Painter-Lopez joined the Martins as they received a replacement.
This was held with my calloused hands, with my mom's loving hands, with her polishing cloth, and this has got sweat, tears, and so much joy in it.
Mo Martin's British Open trophy was destroyed by the Eaton Fire, along with her childhood home in Altadena. Martin's victory at the 2014 Women's British Open at Royal Birkdale was her first and still only LPGA win of her career. And she kept the trophy with her mother in Altadena, where her golf dreams all began.
She knew early on, she wanted to be on the LPGA.
I wanted to become a golfer, technically because my brother came home with a trophy, and he was my first hero. I wanted to do everything he did, and when he came home with that trophy, that changed the trajectory of my life.
She's just remarkably dedicated, and she will do whatever it takes to get where she wants to go.
And that trophy stayed in your childhood home. She obviously could have taken it with her to her home, but she left it with you. What did that mean to you?
Oh, that was pretty special. She left it there because it meant all of us participated in her success.
When the Royal and Ancient heard about the trophy that was destroyed, they reached out within a week of the fires with a surprise. They had made Martin a new trophy, and we were there to open it with her.
I get to kiss it again. It's absolutely stunning.
Oh my.
A little over 10 years after my victory, to still be their champion in that way, I'm forever grateful. Having the trophy back in my hands it's kind of felt like if you have 1,000 puzzle pieces and you're missing that one that could never be replaced by anything else. I feel like I now have that one back and I can plug it in, and it is truly replacing the irreplaceable.
Well, there you go.
KCAL Cares means we are listening during these times. This week, community members shared their stories with us over coffee at the American Legion Post in Pacific Palisades.
We had 30 agencies in here offering all kinds of support, but every type of person coming through here, every personality, every background, but the tears, the need, and the confusion.
We're a dedicated community. We are working really hard together to rebuild, and we have this beautiful culture and community, and we are going to fight, but we need the support of our government to step up and step in.
And we've partnered with the American Red Cross to help fire victims. To donate, scan that QR code right there on your screen or go to redcross.org/KCAL. The nonprofit Altadena Boys first formed to offer clothes and supplies to boys affected by the Eaton Fire. But now it's going beyond that. Elise Martinez walks us through the new space being prepared.
Honestly, my dream is to become a clothing manufacturer and have my own brand.
Sean Harmon is back to pursuing his dreams that were almost derailed after the 18-year-old lost everything in the Eaton Fire.
Just a lot of family things, a lot of things that were weren't replaceable.
Harmon is working at this warehouse, learning about silk screening and design. He got the job through Altadena Boys, a nonprofit using its resources to help young men regain stability and confidence when times get tough.
I met everybody in the warehouse that we're at right now through Altadena Boys, and they put me into a good position for me to be able to be successful in what I'm trying to do.
It was very important to me that Altadena Boys stayed in the community and we're able to give them mentorship and just, guide them in whichever way they want to be guided.
Miles Garber is the nonprofit's COO. He grew up without a dad and says that helped him see that too often boys are taught not to show emotion after going through trauma and can sometimes be forgotten and misunderstood.
I feel like we're taught to just be tough, just handle it. You show up for a boy and you gain that trust and you create something with them. You don't know where they'll go with that.
Garber and his partners are fixing up this space in Highland Park where kids can get creative, form partnerships, meet with mentors, and skateboard. Manny Shorter is a third-generation Altadena resident, displaced by the Eaton Fire, which he says took more than just homes and businesses.
It's a tragic event. Boys feel like they need to be strong for their family and their friends, and it's really unhealthy to just keep it all in, and I do it myself a lot.
He's an aspiring videographer. Altadena boys connected him with an opportunity in his field, and soon he'll be on set, learning more about his passion. Shorter says Altadena Boys is helping to fill a void, not only for him, but for others in the community just like him.
Just the name itself gives people like my age, boys in general, like, oh, there's something out there for me. And I don't have to be the one always pouring, and somebody's actually pouring back into me.
In Highland Park, Elise Martinez, KCAL News.
What a great organization. Well, thanks so much for watching Rebuilding SoCal. I'm Amy Johnson. We'll be back next Friday at 4:30. You can also find this show on our YouTube page and our website.